Says Rabbi Shimon, quote, "All souls were created at least at the beginning of the world and maybe even before," unquote. I really like this Kabbalistic idea that souls existed before the creation of the world. It is a very Platonic concept. That idea precedes matter. And if we're talking about the creation of the world, which is already the moment of the appearance of matter, and if the souls are the musical notes with which the whole history of the universe will be played out, then these notes existed even earlier, possibly before the creation. Says Rabbi Yitzhak,
נשמות הצדיקים שהיו בעולם הזה וכל אותן הנשמות שעתידות לרדת לעולם הזה, все эти דуши праведников.
All the souls of the righteous that were in this world, and all the souls that will ever descend into our world,
כולם, все, עומדות בגן עדן.
They all stand in the garden. If we read the Zohar, then we must be able to decipher it. If Zohar says garden, we understand that we're talking about the Garden of Eden. The word garden is important because it is the lower sephirah, the lower level between the spiritual world and the physical world observed by Ben Zoma. It is the lower sephirah Malchut. Malchut touches the waters of this world. Malchut is the beginning or an entrance to the world of spirit, and at the same time an exit from the world of matter. So, before one is born, one's soul stands there and waits for the moment of birth. Just as the soul comes into our world through the garden, it also leaves from here through the same garden. These souls stand in the garden in the likeness in which they were in this world. In other words, if we ended up there, and we all end up there at some point, each in our own time, then we will be able to recognize others just like we do it here. Because their tziyur, or their image, will be exactly the same as the appearance they had in this world. And this hidden knowledge and profound secret were passed on to our sages and our teachers. The Zohar hints at this very ancient knowledge, which is much older than the Zohar itself, or even the period of the Talmudic sages. There is a spirit that descends into a person. Please note, it does not say neshama, it does not say soul, although before that, it tells us about the souls who stand in the garden. They came into our world through the garden and left our world through the garden. But there is some ruach, or some spirit, that descends into a person. This spirit comes from the feminine, Nekeva. It is Malchut, the lower Sephirah, that touches our world and gives birth to all souls, and from whom comes the spirit. But there is also the higher feminine, Binah, the higher mother. The feminine is the one who develops the seed and subsequently gives birth. Please remember, if Chokhmah, or the wisdom, is the information seed, then the feminine, the mother, is where this information takes form. And it is always engraved or imprinted on us as a seal. What exactly is this seal? The spirit is the seal. And what does it engrave? The association with the seal from the book of Song of Songs by King Solomon immediately comes to mind. Quote, "Place me like a seal upon your arm." Unquote. When the Song of Songs speaks of love, it means that the object of love is like the seal. It affects one greatly, as it becomes indelible and never to be erased. Later, the Zohar interprets this verse in a famous story called The Maiden Without Eyes. This seal is the divine image that is imprinted in our soul. Here, the seal is spoken of not as the divine image or the object of love. Yes, it is also the seal, and it is also permanent. We are going to understand it as we discuss it further. The seal is imprinted in us, and the similarity of this seal and of that which is imprinted in us can be explained very simply. We're talking about something that is indestructible, something that penetrates the object and remains there forever. We're talking about the three-dimensional man who has the soul or neshama, who has a spirit or ruach, and a body, and this body is perishable. So what exactly does the seal imprint? Do you remember I said to you that we take something with us when we go? How do we do it? How does it stay with us? Because it's like a seal. It penetrates the soul and stays there forever. It becomes the pattern of the human body in this world, which is visible on the outside. It turns out that our body itself, or our appearance, is not quite a secondary thing. It's not just an old garment we wore and threw away, like we don't need it anymore. Our body is nothing but the external expression of our soul. How can this expression of our soul be taken off and thrown away like a decaying garment? How can it happen? If tziyur haguf, the outer pattern of our body, or its external expression matches our soul, although the soul leaves an imprint on the body, which is material and perishable, it is only matter that goes to dust. But the spiritual image that stays through an entire life remains so perfectly intact that we will be able to recognize each other in the Garden of Eden. Breathtaking. Breathtaking because our appearance, our face, our hands, our body is a piece of information about our life. The outside expression of the soul is the expression of the holiness inside us. Our body is an imprint left by the soul in the physical world.